Good morning, students. Let us continue with the drama portion, Act 1, Scene 1. Last class we completed up to line 70-71, wherein that was the last dialogue of Salarino, and there exits Salario and Salarino. They say goodbye to those who came, and who were the ones who entered? Lorenzo, Bassanio and Gratiano. All these three enters. And Salarino and Salanio leaves the stage. This is what we had seen in our last class. Let us continue. Lorenzo's dialogue first. My Lord Bassanio, since you have found Antonio, we too will leave you. But at dinner time, I pray you have in mind where we must meet. So this is what Lorenzo tells my Lord Bassanio. He says, when those two leaves, Lorenzo says, my Lord Bassanio, he came along with Bassanio. So he says, Lord Bassanio, since you have found Antonio, since you met Antonio right now, we too will leave you. We too in the sense Lorenzo and Gratiano. So this is what Lorenzo says, we too are going to leave you. But at dinner time, I pray you have in mind where we must meet. But for dinner, you just keep in your mind, just remember that where we should meet. So they have already planned to have a dinner together. So that is why he's saying, so don't forget about it. Just keep it in mind where we have to meet. So Bassanio says, I will not fail you. I won't forget. I will come. Definitely I will come. I won't disappoint you without coming. This is what Bassanio says. So on this, Gratiano says, you look not well, Senior Antonio. You have too much respect upon the world. They lose it that do buy it with much care. Believe me, you are marvelously changed. So Gratiano says, you look not well. You are looking very sick, dull. What is it, Senior Antonio? Gratiano says, you have too much respect upon the world. You are anxious. You are having anxious thoughts. You are having many worries about the world. Why so? He says. They lose it that do buy it with much care. So those who worry much about these worldly things, those who take tensions about the worldly matters, are seldom happy or successful. Hardly they remain happy, or they will never remain successful. This is what he is trying to say. Believe me, you are marvelously changed. And you just believe me, trust me, he says, you trust me. You have totally changed in your appearance. You have changed. This is what Gratiano tells Bassanio. So Antonio, I hold the world, but as the world, Gratiano, a stage where every man must play a part and mine a sad one. So Antonio says, I hold the world, but as the world, I see the world for what it is. This is what he says. I look at the world the way it is. So this is my way of looking at the world, Antonio says. A stage where every man must play a part. So he says the world is a stage. So that is a popular dialogue of Shakespeare, you can understand. So here Antonio is putting that dialogue, Shakespeare's dialogue, you can see over here. A stage. So the world is a stage, he says, where every human being has a role to play. This is what Antonio is trying to say. And on this stage, my role is a tragic role, he says. Antonio's role is a tragic one, he says. And mine a sad one. So Gratiano says, let me play the fool with mirth and laughter. Let old wrinkles come and let my liver rather heat with wine. So Gratiano is saying, let me play the fool. If world is a stage and if we are all actors on the stage, then Gratiano says, then let me play the fool. Let me play the comic role on the stage, he says, with mirth and laughter, with emotion, following humorous emotions, and which is accompanied by laughter. This is what he says. So let me play a comic role, he says. And let old wrinkles come. Old wrinkles, when you laugh, you get wrinkles, right? So let those old wrinkles, happy time come. So when he is going to crack jokes, when he is going to make funny attitudes over there, let everyone enjoy it, laugh it. So with wrinkles, that is what wrinkles is meaning. And let my liver rather heat with wine. So he says, and let my liver. Okay, so this is what he is speaking over. So according to the Renaissance people, the people believed that by drinking wine, they can keep their liver warm, right? So there, and if the liver is warm by wine, then it will produce rich blood, okay? And this can make a human being very lively, very positive, bright, okay? So this was the belief of the Renaissance people. So this is what, and let my liver rather heat with wine. This is what he's saying. So during the Renaissance period, you can see there was a belief that there were at about 4 basic types of characters in people. So those characters are mentioned over here. The choleric one, the melancholic one, the phlegmatic, and the sanguine type. So this is what he is mentioning over here is a sanguine type, where physiologically determined by the digestion of food in the liver. So the food will get digested, so they will remain lively, happily, enthusiastic, right? So this is what he's trying to explain over here. That is why he's saying, and let my liver, or rather, so making one laugh, being positive, making others also having that positive energy, developing it. This is what he's focusing over here and speaking. Then my heart cooled with mortifying groans. Then he says over here, sighing and groaning. Okay, in the sense to take the blood from the heart. Okay, so making these type of gestures over here, or playing the role of a comic scene over here, creating energy in others. So this is what he's intending over here. Somehow he wanted to make Antonio laugh. That was his intention, you can understand. So he says, why should a man whose blood is warm within sit like his grandsire cut in alabaster, sleep when he wakes and creep into the jaundice? So he's saying, why should a young man whose having warm blood, whose blood is warm within, why should a young man who's having warm blood in him sit like his grandsire cut in alabaster, should sit like his grandfather's statue? Okay, a statue which is made of stone, right? So why should a young man sit like the statue of his grandfather? Isn't it? Young people should be always lively, should be positive. This is what he's expecting. Why should a young man sit like his grandfather's statue, he says. Sleep when he wakes and creep into the jaundice. Okay, so sitting like this, motionless during the day as if asleep, isn't it? Daytime, in the sense, one should be energetic, one should be positive, moving about. Sleep when he wakes. So when he is awake, he is sleeping. He sits as if he is asleep. And creep into the jaundice. Jaundice means a disease. Okay, you all know, you might have heard, you have learned it in your science lessons, right? Jaundice, a disease that turns the skin pale, right? So that is what is jaundice. So that is what has been discussed over here. So Elizabethan people believed that jaundice was caused due to jealousy, bad temper. Okay, so that is why he is saying, why are you sitting like this? When this is an indication to Antonio over here. Why are you Antonio is a young man, isn't it? Young energetic man is wasting his energy sitting as if he is dead, sitting still like a statue of his grandfather. That is why he is giving the example of a young man with warm blood. Young people means warm-blooded people. That is what it is believed, isn't it? Old man means cold-blooded. This is the understanding. So warm-blooded, hot-blooded person, why are you sitting like this without doing anything, sitting idle over here, sitting still over here? That is much more important. Okay, in stillness, why are you sitting in stillness? And daytime itself, it looks as if you are asleep. Okay, and this can creep into, and this can lead you into disease, right? Into jaundice. This will make you much more pale. This is what he says. By being peevish, I tell thee what, Antonio, I love thee, and it is my love that speaks. There are sort of men whose visages do cream and mental like a standing pond, and do a willful stillness entertain, with purpose to be dressed in an opinion of wisdom, gravity, profound conceit, as who should say, I am Sir Oracle, and when I open my lips, let no dog bark. O my Antonio, I do know of these, that therefore only are reputed wise for saying nothing, when I am very sure if they should speak would almost damn those ears. So I'll stop it over here. I'll just continue explaining these part. By being peevish, okay, by being peevish in the sense, by sitting over here idle, not doing, sitting sick and constantly complaining, okay, complaining throughout. I tell thee what, Antonio, I'll tell you, Antonio, just listen to me, he says, I love thee. It is, I love you, he says to Antonio. Bassanio says, I love you. And it is my love that speaks, and out of love, I speak out of love, he says over here. I am speaking out of love. There are a sort of man whose visages, there are some people, some human beings, some man, Okay, how they are, whose usage is, whose appearance, do cream and mental like a standing pool. So their appearance look like cream on a standing pool. Have you seen pool, water pool? If you don't use the water of the pool, what happens? You can see all the dirt get accumulated on top and it stands still, right? Everything, and it looks like an oily scum. So that is what is being mentioned over here. Do cream and mental like a standing pool. Like how in the milk, you see, when you boil the milk and you keep the milk aside, you can see the cream on top. The milk forms a layer of cream on top, right? So like that cream which is formed when you keep the milk without moving, without stirring, without shifting to the other glass or other vessel, when you keep it, you can find the cream forming, a layer of cream forming on top of it. Same way you have the standing pool which is not used for a long time. You can see the dirt accumulated on top, like that is what is called as a scum on top. Okay, so there are some people, he's giving an example, there are some men whose faces like that, there are some, that is what he's trying to say with these examples, is that there are some people whose faces are black without any expression. This is what he's trying to say by giving these type of examples. There are some people who don't have any expressions. Their face will be looking black without any expressions, he says. They do on purpose and do a willful stillness entertainments. They do it on purpose. Okay, they do these, they put this type of a face, this type of an appearance, of black appearance on their face purposely, he says, with purpose to be dressed in an opinion, to appear. Why they are doing it? They are doing it to appear, to be dressed in the sense to appear in an opinion of wisdom, to appear wise. Okay, gravity means solemnity, profound concept, so serious, deep. People should look at their face and should feel that person is very deep, or very serious, or very solemn in nature, right? Or wise in nature, right? These people should feel. To put this type of an impression on people, they stay purposely like that. This is what he says. As who should say, I am Sir Oracle, as if they want to say, as if they want to show others that I am Sir Oracle. Sir Oracle means I am the master. Okay, so that attitude they are putting in their appearance, that is what you can understand. Fine. So that look they put on their facial experience, that I am Oracle, I am the master. And when I open my lips, let no dog bark. So, and when I open my mouth, let no dog bark, means no one should dare to speak. When I start speaking, nobody should dare to speak. Okay, this type of a stubborn attitude. This you understood? Oh my Antonio, I do know of this. So he says, some men are like this. I know these type of people, that therefore only are reputed wise who are regarded as wise. For saying nothing when I am very sure, if they should speak, would almost damn those ears. They don't say anything. For saying nothing means they don't say anything. Okay, when I am very sure, with it is very clear that, he says, it is very clear that if they should speak, if at all they open their mouth, would almost damn those ears, they would condemn themselves. If at all they are given a chance to open their mouth, and if they open their mouth, they would condemn themselves. They would condemn themselves. Which hearing them would call their brothers fools. Okay, for everybody, when they hear to these type of people, they will call them, their talks as stupidity. Did you understand? So that is what it means. Which hearing them would call their brothers food, for their stupidity. Okay, and the people will laugh at it. So that is, they are not fit for anything, but they will say that they are masters, and they will put an appearance on their face, but they are not. And that is what they say. When I speak, nobody should speak. When I open my mouth, nobody else should open your mouth. So that is what it has been said. I'll tell thee more of this another time. So I have more to speak about this. I will tell you about these type of talks some other time, not now, he says to Antonio. But fish not with this melancholy bathe. Okay, so but You don't go fishing for that reputation with this depression as an excuse, okay, as your excuse. With this depression as your excuse, please don't go fishing for that type of reputation. You don't go for that type of a reputation. Whatever examples he gave right now, that is what he's speaking over here. For this fool gudgeon this opinion, come, good Lorenzo, fare well a while, I'll end my exhortation after dinner. So it is said over here, but fish not with this melancholy bait. That means don't use this bait. Don't use this bait of melancholy. Bait means what? For fishing you need a bait, isn't it? When you fish, maybe you use an earthworm as a bait over there to fish. You might be knowing about it, right? So that is what has been said. So don't use this bait. That is the appearance, the black appearance on the face. Don't put like this. You don't use melancholy as a bait for fishing. That is what he's saying. Don't use this bait of melancholy, silence, in order to catch such a cheap fish like popularity. In order to catch such a cheap fish like popularity. Popularity in the sense to show that you are wise, you are something, all those things, whatever we have seen right now, isn't it? That you are serious. Okay. To gain this type of popularity, you don't put yourself in this type of cheap fishing, he says. Okay. So cheap fish like popularity, he says. For this fool gudgeon this opinion. Okay. For such a small, worthless fish which can be very easily caught. So don't put yourself in it, he says. Come, good Lorenzo. Then he is calling out to Lorenzo. He is calling Lorenzo. He is trying to move out. Fare well a while. Goodbye for now, he says. Goodbye for now. I'll end my exhortation after dinner. I will finish with this good advice after dinner. Okay, this is what he says, and he leaves. Let us move to the next dialogue.